Hello there, people of the internet. I know a guy who has 5 kids between 3 different women, and he's not a rich man, and he is especially not a rich man because of that particular situation. But I was talking with the guy. He's a little older now, but he was telling me that he sees the writing on the wall, and he wants to get more proficient with firearms and increase his capabilities in becoming a better shooter. And by all means, I'm absolutely 110% supportive of people who want to get out there and train. But he says that he doesn't have the funds to be able to both stockpile ammunition or get a decent collection of ammunition for just in case purposes, while at the same time expending ammunition to be able to properly train. And so I definitely feel him on that. Back whenever I first started this YouTube channel, I was so poor and I had such few resources to be able to get anything, let alone ammunition, that if you go to my early work and watch that stuff, I literally just load 1 round into a magazine at a time. And there were people asking me like, hey, this guy knows he can load more than 1 round inside of his mag, right? And I'm like, yeah, I know. I literally just don't have the funds to be able to do that. I got to make this 50 round box of ammunition here last for like 10 episodes because I'm not going to be able to get another one until next month because I was just not making money during that time period. I'm still not making money, but I definitely have people who are helping me out with video production a lot more than I used to. But I can definitely relate whenever this guy said, hey, I have no money to be able to get ammunition to do the things that I want to do. I was the same way. But whenever I was talking to this guy, he was telling me, yeah, I know how to shoot a gun. I know how to shoot it fairly well, but I want to increase my proficiency with firearms. And not only that, I want to, whenever you're shooting, that is a skill that if you don't use it, you lose it. So he wants to be able to keep up with the skills that he's already had developed. I know that there was a point in time where I went like 6 months or so without shooting anything, and whenever I came back to the range, I was god-awful at literally everything. So whenever I was talking to this guy about potential options for training while on an extreme budget, I came up with the conclusion, like basically right there on the spot, I came up with the conclusion that stockpiling ammunition is more important than using ammunition to train with. Now, I absolutely wholeheartedly recommend that you get proper training if you can afford it and if you can manage it. But it doesn't matter how much training you have if something goes down and you have no ammunition to be able to utilize that training. And whenever I say this guy doesn't have a lot of money, he told me that he could afford one of those toll ammo tends to run like $10 or so a box at local retailers and whatnot, unless you're buying in bulk or something like that, but about $10 a box on average. He told me he could afford one of those about every 2 weeks or so, and that's not a lot of ammunition even for training purposes. So I told him I would rather you stockpile, that 20 rounds every 2 weeks or so, get yourself up to a certain point, a certain level of ammunition, and then you can go ahead and focus on utilizing some ammunition for training. Now he told me, well, I like the idea, but I want to train. Like, the odds of something happening while he's working on stockpiling appear to be getting greater and greater. And I don't like those odds. None of us like those odds, but they appear to be getting greater and greater. So he wants to get the proficiency, and he's kind of like leaning towards the point of like using some of his rounds to train and saving the rest. But he's like, dang, I feel like I'm kind of neglecting one thing or the other. And I could absolutely relate with that. So I started going into some techniques that he could use to train and become more proficient with firearms without using any ammunition at all. Like, for example, if you're utilizing empty magazines, you can practice your reloads all day long without spending a dime on ammunition. Or dry fire practice, assuming you don't have a rimfire or something like that. You can sit there and you can dry fire your handgun, especially if it's a decent quality handgun. Sit there and dry fire your handgun and practice your various hand movements, practice the location of magazines and whatnot on your body. Just get more proficient with utilizing the handgun without actually using any ammunition at all. Or if you're going to do that with a rifle, like I got actually right here, a Ruger Mini 14 and say 5.56, and that's what he wants. He wants 5.56 ammo and to get more proficient with his 5.56 rifle. I have this out here because this is a more YouTube-friendly rifle. But if you don't have anything on you, you can just practice taking mag out, putting mag in, rocking your charging handle, getting more efficient with that, learning effectively your safety, getting used to aiming down your sights, confirm that this is empty, aiming down your sights, pulling that trigger, making sure that the firearm does not move at all whenever you pull that trigger. I know I'm kind of hypocritical on that. A lot of times whenever I'm mag dumping out here with full power rifles, so I'll get a dud or hang fire because I use cheap surplus ammo and you'll see me flinch and whatnot. I don't really practice those fundamentals whenever I'm out here practicing, or not practicing, whenever I'm out here making videos for the gun range. But you can practice what kind of grip it is that you would want on your rifle, whether it's a C grip, or standard grip, a magazine grip, you know, something out here, something back here. You'd be able to practice a lot with just the utilization and manipulation of said rifle without spending a dime on ammunition. So while you save up that certain level of ammunition, you can get more proficient with the rifle and your capabilities without actually shooting. Now, of course, that's not going to equate to the level of training you would get whenever you actually go out shooting. But with your proficiencies that you would get just from the manipulation and dry fire exercises from your rifle, that would be proficient enough to make you a significantly deadlier force than what most people would be considered as here inside the United States, because most people don't even get that manipulation and dry fire practice. They don't train at all. Like 9 times out of 10, whenever you come across a United States civilian, they're not going to have any real training. They might have used something for hunting or grown up with a 22 that their dad had, or have something that they shot a decade ago, or had a trip to the gun range, or maybe they went through a class to get their CCW or something like that. Most people aren't going to decide to themselves, all right, I want to get more proficient, so I'm going to work on getting more proficient. So literally just manipulation practice and dry fire practice and things like that will already put you on top of a good dramatic number of people out there. Now, like I said, it's not going to be any real substitute for an actual firing practice, but it will allow you to get the chance to have some time while getting practice in, have some time to go ahead and be able to stockpile some ammunition so you have ammo on standby if something does happen. And then once you get to a certain level of ammunition, you're like, all right, this is my just-in-case ammo. Now, next week, whenever I buy that 20-round box of ammunition, I can go out to the range and actually practice my fundamentals. Don't just mag dump into garbage. I can actually practice my fundamentals on becoming a more proficient shooter. One thing that I did get pretty good at was firearms manipulation back whenever I loaded 1 round into a magazine at a time, because whenever I would send that round down range, I had to reload. So I got pretty gosh darn good at reloading during that time period. Now, normally I don't really focus on fundamentals whenever it comes to shooting for my videos. Like I said, I'll literally just come out here, tell a story, talk about a topic, share my opinion about something. I would do something besides just practicing my fundamentals. But just for the sake of this video, since we're talking about actually training, I'm going to go ahead and practice some fundamentals. Get myself a proper stance, rifle out, lean into the rifle a little bit. I guess I can't really do a C grip on this style of rifle, so I'll have to do a more traditional one. Squeeze that trigger in a manner to where you don't flinch. There's 1 round. There's 2 rounds. There's 3 rounds. Alright, yeah. I stuck 3 rounds down there in that grill, and thought I had a 5 round, 5 rounds inside of this magazine, but I guess not. I stuck 3 rounds down inside of that grill. About center shot, I completely blew off the little turn knob that we had down there originally for that thing, and we've cooked many meals on that. But yeah, there you go. Now, don't if you're getting the cheap steel case stuff, don't try to test yourself for accuracy or group size or anything like that, because this stuff is very much not accurate, especially out to longer distances, beyond, it's probably about 3 MOA ammunition. I know this Ruger Mini 14 with proper what's it called, M193, proper M193 55 grain projectiles. Out at about 100 yards, I'll get about 2 MOA. But with this steel case stuff, dude, I rock probably about 5 MOA at 100 yards out of this Ruger Mini 14. It's just not as accurate, but it is good enough to be able to practice fundamentals. Don't necessarily practice group size. Like if I had to make a bet out there, well, I know I shot that little turn knob. I know I shot that every time because I saw it fly apart piece by piece every time I hit it. So that's probably about 3 inches or so in diameter, approximately, rough estimations. So that's about 6 MOA if I were to go out to the actual 100 yards, because we're only about 40 right now. So yeah, okay, that's enough to practice fundamentals. Just don't get obsessed with group size if you're going to be using cheapo ammunition. I think I made my point with this thing. Stockpiling and having the ammunition there is more important than using ammunition for training, because training can be done without use of ammunition, especially if you are going to do like manipulation and dry fire. You'd also do like drill running and whatnot. Like for example, there's been quite a few times where I'll just go on a rifle run and I'll carry a rifle whenever I do my mile run, just so I have the experience with holding and carrying a rifle, or get stronger to be able to hold your rifle up longer. Practice holding your rifle like this for, say, 5 minutes, put a 5-minute timer on, or practice, I know a lot of times I'll ensure that my firearm is in fact empty, and I'll aim at my TV, and I'll swap targets and things like that from across the room. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, share, description below, link to all sorts of stuff, go check it out. You guys go off, have yourself a fantastic day. Been a little while since I've done this. Bonnie and Clyde be damned. The poor man's Garen. It's a shame that bolt-action shotguns aren't more mainstream.